sitting there talking to one of my homegirls and talking about music and things of that nature. And yeah, so I'm listening to Ab-Soul Control System, you know, his like first album, second album, whatever you want to call it, because he put out 3 that he sold, you know what I'm saying, for money. So I'm going to say, like you said on Breakfast Club, this is his 3rd album that he sold, but basically it's his sophomore album. And I'm listening to Control System, and I'm like, wow, I'm impressed because of the content and everything. And so I just asked, like, yo, have you heard, you know, Ab-Soul new album? Shit is dope, you know, because she a hip-hop head, too. You know, blonde, blue-eyed chick, you know what I mean? A very good friend of mine that love hip-hop. And so she like, you know, I heard a little bit of it, not really. And I was like, to me, it's album of the year, and I damn near think it's better, these days it's better than Good Kid, Mad City. And she goes on to say, well, nah, I disagree with you, but I respect your opinion, but Good Kid, Mad City, definitely a good album. And then I was like, you know what? You gave me the idea of a topic, so thanks to her, you know what I mean, shout out to Kelly. What's better, y'all? Like the debate. Good Kid, Mad City versus These Days. And we both know that, in my opinion, I haven't done a review yet, but like I'm going to do it. But I think Ab-Soul album is in that bracket for album of the year. I know Kendrick Lamar is coming, you know what I'm saying, with his new album and his project, and everybody's going to immediately say before it drop, it's going to be album of the year. But let the art come out, not snippets of songs and not the leak, the actual album, the finished product, and then judge it off that. I mean, I haven't been like an Ab-Soul huge fan. Like, even when I first started listening to Kendrick with his first self-titled album and then Section 80, you know what I mean, and K-Dot, the Carter 4 mixtape and all this, I've been listening to him before he was famous. So is my homegirl, you know what I mean? So I honestly think that he don't care about, when the rappers say they don't care about album sales and things of that nature, they tend to put out an album that's kind of mediocre. We've seen it before, but I don't care about album sales. Not saying that he's going to be whack. He does deliver on the lyrics. He does deliver on the content. But some people, when it comes to their sophomore, they hit that sophomore jinx. Let's not get that fucked up. A lot of people haven't been talking about it, but that still exists. And I'm wondering, what is Kendrick going to do? Because if you don't know what his first album, none of them shits he put on the radio, nobody gave a fuck about it. Swimming Pools, all these songs. His album didn't pop and take off until it dropped, and I'm gonna say the Kill My Vibe shit, right? Because when the album was out, I was watching reviews and shit, and I'm like, nobody really feeling it like that. Like, you understood the concept that the album actually start at the end of the album and play all the way back. That was a good concept, but you gotta listen to it to hear that. But motherfuckers wasn't feeling it far as, you know, wow, it's a good album. Because I know a lot of people, YouTube, in my real life, in real world, that don't even fuck with lyrical artists, right? But the thing that made it dope was, even when he did Kill My Vibe, people looking at the shit as just a beat and a hook. They're not even listening to the words. So if you really look at most of the songs that finally started taking off at radio and shit, it's because people like the beat and they like the hook, but they're not paying attention to, you know what I'm saying, the lyrical content. Because let's face it, 90% of the people that fucking bought the album, I say 50, bought the album and shit like that, don't even understand it. They don't get it. They're just listening to it for the moment. You know what I mean? Because if you ask a person, what's your favorite song or favorite bar on Good Kid, Mad City, they couldn't tell you. They'll probably say some whack shit like, oh, bitch don't kill my vibe. You know what I'm saying? It's like, get those people the fuck out of here. But he did have a phenomenal album, and for that year he did. And then he went on to the Control verse. Now, Ab-Soul's been the one that's in Black Hippie, that's been, you know, in kind of the outskirts of things, you know, in the streets, dibbling, dabbling. You know what I'm saying? Not nothing illegal, but he's always been, you know, quiet. And when he dropped Control System, that was 2 years ago. But like he said, he turned in 2 albums to TDE. You know what I mean? So we understand that riff of what happened. So it's like, when I did hear Control System, like, I downloaded or whatever and listened to it, but didn't really think no big thing of it, but knew he could spit. And then gradually he started pitting verses on people's songs, and it's like, yo, like, Ab is really dope, you know what I'm saying? Even his name, like, go watch the Breakfast Club interview and see how he came about his name. He a really deep dude, you know what I mean? And I think he did work on, I know he worked with Mac Miller before, that's obvious, you know what I'm saying? Joe Budden, I know He worked with Joe Budden before, and some of these verses just always stood out. Like, to me, Ab-Soul never put out a whack verse when he did a feature. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Debate it if you want. So when These Days finally came out and it leaked, I didn't know what to expect. I just know TDE has a standard because Kendrick, you know, and everybody's not going to be Kendrick Lamar and put out an album like that because they're all different. J-Rock, Ab-Soul, Kendrick, and Schoolboy Q, they're all different. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you expect J-Rock and Schoolboy Q to put out material that's, you know, towards the streets, other than some radio type shit. And Schoolboy Q had a phenomenal album as well. And now we got Ab-Soul album out. Up next, I do want to see J-Rock. You know what I'm saying? What can he do with, you know what I mean? Because I don't think he got his, like, just do when he went and did the song with Wayne back then. That was a dope record, but I want to see what he gonna do instead of Isaiah Rashad and SZA. No disrespect, but let's get the black hippie movement shit going. You feel what I'm saying? But I definitely think that These Days is album of the year. I mean, from the surprises that he had in there, it reminds you of Good Kid, Mad City, but at the same time, it's like Ab-Soul is in his own lane, got his own story to tell, and I definitely felt that with listening to his first album and his second album. So you definitely get to feel like they holding him back in a way. I'm saying that. I just feel like they just hold him back, you know what I mean? Because you got to look at it. They're both lyricists in a sense, Kendrick and Ab-Soul. You feel me? You can hear in the background. This song is off Control System. That was a dope song, you feel what I'm saying? And to see both of them on the record together, I was like, wow, because Kendrick, to me, Kendrick verse that he had was just fucking phenomenal. And I was like, holy shit, like the nigga was just spazzing.
I just put my on vacation, bitch. You never know my new location is across nations. Court cases get thrown out. So tell a motherfucking king be gone now. I am ruler, I am highness, the prince of Munda. I am this shit like what the prune does. Black on black tint, I came to Kunta. Black is back, bitch, I came to Kunta. Black on black crime, I take the shooter. Black, 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 I attend the future. Racks on racks, I go back on tracks without my game. So please don't ask me about no pressure. Bitch, you quit on my fingertip, I can hold this coast together.
Feel me? So when I had heard that song, I'm like, god damn, like these two niggas on the track is just fucking phenomenal. Like that song right there, what's the name of that song? Let me see. Give me a minute, y'all. Illuminate with ILL and capital letters, kind of like Illuminati, but These Days definitely is just flawless in my sense, except that one record, which I get why he did it, is the DJ Mustard sounding record, where you gotta have like what's in now in LA and the movement and shit. So you gotta have that for people that probably don't listen to all the lyrical shit. You gotta have something on there for at least one person. You know what I mean? If you like the type of music that puts you in a certain type of mood, or some that you can relate to, the party type records, the feel good records, because he really is a hippie in a sense. Like out of everybody that's in Black Hippie, he's like the real hippie. But I definitely feel like I like These Days a little more than Good Kid, Mad City. You know what I mean? Like that's just me. That's just a good debate. And someone be like, well, why would you compare Kendrick old album to Ab-Soul new album? Because they're similar in a way. You dig what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I'll do the same debate if Kendrick album come out this year, because we know with Dr. Dre and we know this and that Interscope and situations, they may push you back one more year. You know what I'm saying? Because let's keep it real. If Kendrick do drop his album, do y'all think that it'll overshadow anything else that drops on the label, as far as SZA, Isaiah Rashad, even though they all got their own lanes and shit? I just feel like it'll overshadow, you know what I mean, everything that the label is trying to put out. To me, that wouldn't make sense. Like, if I run the label, I'm not going to pick. He's got the most anticipated album of 2014, right? So why would I pick him out along with the other artists on the roster? Because they're not going to have no momentum. Like, Tuesday, Ab-Soul album drops. So you got to still build that momentum, go on tours and this and that. You know, and then you got to roll out the next artist in the next couple of months. I just don't see it happening, because it'll feel like the albums be rushed, because it's only 6 months left in this year. So what are you going to do? Roll out 3 months later, you're going to have SZA, and 3 months later you're going to have Isaiah Rashad. Where did Kendrick fit in that? So I don't see it actually happening. I would say the top of 2015 dropped the album, because I'm telling you that it'll overshadow everything that TDE trying to do. And I just don't see that as a good thing. But I definitely feel like I want to see what Kendrick new album gonna sound like. But Absol new project is fucking phenomenal. It's crazy. I still feel like it's better than Good Kid, Mad City a little bit. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Start the debate. I just had to drop off a vlog to y'all today. And that Absol review coming soon, man. 1.